Staphyros Epsilon, the Decruption. Nothi Safton Epsilon 0 Agan, Aristotle said. Aristotle Organon is a collection of books by the philosopher on logic. The ancient Greek text is very rare and hard to find in our time, and almost no one knows exactly what it says. This book was in the hands of Nestorian monks of Syria, and through them it became known to Arabic scholars, while from the 8th century AD, its first editions appeared in Italy and Spain in Latin. The Dominican monk Albert the Great and his teacher Thomas Aquinas, 13th century AD, are mentioned as the main scholars and commentators of Aristotle's work. In the Arab Empire, the work was studied by Arab and Jewish scholars. Today, the Organon is also available in English and is even available on Amazon. The book of George Lefkofridis, 1977, was based on the book by Aristotle, and George Lefkofridis was a lawyer researcher of the ancient Greek Secretariat. In the introduction to this study on Aristotle's book, he states that during his study of ancient texts, he also read Plutarch's book on Epsilon in Delphi, in which Plutarch tried to interpret what the letter Epsilon, the Greek E, in the oracle meant, of Delphi, which was located outside and inside in the temple of Apollo. The interior E, the Epsilon, at first was wooden, then bronze, and then finally gold, was located between the two Delphic sayings, know thyself, and zero agan, which were inside an isosceles and obtuse triangle gable, and which was seen by all who entered the temple. This aroused the interest of the research author, according to the preface of the book, and he dedicated the rest of his life to the research and search of this interpretation of Epsilon through various ancient Greek books. Finally, according to his description of the late 1960s, he discovered this book by Aristotle, the Organ, from which he managed to get a copy from the University of Oxford, as it was not available to the public at the time. The author studied the books of Aristotle, which are considered the most difficult to understand, for about 5 years, and after 15 readings, page by page and word by word, he translated it for the first time into modern Greek according to the book's claims. Aristotle, in the book Organon, every 10 to 15 verses, wrote sentences that do not make sense and therefore make it extremely difficult. Although scholars said that this was done for didactic reasons, this researcher studied it as he considered that it was a specific code used by the great philosopher and through which many secrets are hidden, and to decipher this code he used different decoding methods. The decipherment of the book is really impressive and connects the ancient Greeks, but also Aristotle and the Epsilon, the E, with ancient cosmonauts and the constellation of Lagos, but also contains secret information about space technology. He published the following book in 50 typewriter copies, which were mysteriously withdrawn. The author died and the work was forgotten. And below you can read the specific study on Aristotle's book Organon and the really interesting interpretation of its content. The book by George Lefkofridis called Cosmoskaphos, that is spaceship, sti gyro epsilon, the organ of Aristotle. This I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.